And now, and now we're live.
Ooh, and it just happens, doesn't it?
We just pop right in there. So,
wow.
Good morning, friends.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Yes, we have another Woman in Business Wednesday. And so Johanna is squeezed in the middle between hot mess sandwich here.
Yep,
so,
a hot
nice
mess
and
sandwich.
comfortable.
I know, and you look really put together. Both you and Amanda look put together for this hot day.
Oh, thank you.
I will say that I have my little romper from Sweet Pea on today. I'm going to shout out to Sweet Pea because they are, well, just to give a shout out to them, local in Georgina, women's clothing store. And she is now partnered up with the Hot Mess Mentors. And so you'll be seeing us wear a lot of her clothes from now on.
Yes, I just drove by again this morning at her window and thought, I got to reach out to Debbie to see if I can actually just go in and take a look, because I am just getting the hang of online shopping. I still don't have it down pat. I still like to touch and feel and look.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I although I must say, my husband will probably disagree that I have got the online shopping down pat with the amount of packages that are arriving at the door every day. But most of it is groceries. Most of it is food items and not so much clothing. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. You've got that Amazon figured out, and David T.
Yes, and I always say I have no idea whose card Amazon charges, because it doesn't ask me. I just hit submit and magically it gets paid for. So I have no idea. Who's paying for it. But
that is
don't ask, don't tell.
Remind me to get the password for your Amazon. I would like my stuff magically paid for too.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is great.
Who wouldn't?
But today we're joined by by Johanna. I know you like to be called Jo, right? I know.
Yeah, Johanna, whatever works.
And she's relatively local. You're in Newmarket. So
that's right.
Yeah, and I discovered you on Instagram. I started following you. And listening to some of your podcasts and all the people that you've been interviewing. I thought that it would be great to have you on our Women in Business Wednesday, because what caught my eye was your confidence hypnosis, right? Because Amanda and I are both very passionate about inspiring and encouraging women to, rediscover their confidence that they had and somehow lost along the way as we enter, our 20s, 30s, and 40s. So
I think as women, we start our confidence. Actually, we start losing it, I think, in high school, when things get, when girls get pretty judgy with each other, and that's when our confidence tends to start dropping off a little bit. But we are born with confidence, and we just have to sort of chip away the layers and find that little spark in there that is our confidence and start exercising it. It's a muscle.
Yep. And so I thought, Amanda and I, we have an online program that we promote for women to start working that muscle again. But then I never thought to use hypnosis, right, as a way to also help sort of maybe put away the fears that are preventing us from, being confident women. So why don't you tell us about yourself then, Johanna, and what you do?
Oh, definitely. Well, the way that you guys talk about confidence is wonderful, because that's really where my journey started with hypnosis. You guys can hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
Perfect. Yeah, so what happened with me, so it wasn't in high school actually, but it was when I started university is where I started feeling really shy and self-conscious about myself. And unfortunately, the way that I found a solution to that was to drink. I felt a lot more confident. I could be myself when I was drinking, when I was partying with people. So I did a lot of that throughout university. I got my Bachelor of Applied Sciences, and I was one of those party girls. But unfortunately, when I left university, when I had graduated, I found myself really struggling to stop that lifestyle. And I really had that want, that drive to, quit drinking. So after university, I became a behavior therapist, which I wrote down the definition. I wanted to make sure I got it completely correct. So behaviorism is the theory that human and animal behavior can be explained in terms of conditioning without appeal to thoughts or feelings, and that psychological disorders are best treated by altering behavior patterns. So we use that a lot with kids with autism. So I was actually working as applied behavioral analyst with kids with autism. So especially when people who aren't able to communicate very well, it's a really good therapy to use. So I was trying to use behaviorism on myself to help me, you know, quit drinking and try something, you know, more positive and healthy. So
because that's true. When we drink, like you feel more confident. I don't know what it is, but it is true, right? But that could be a dangerous, you know, like if you rely.
Liquid courage.
Yeah, if you rely.
That's right. That's right.
People will see you outside, like when you are out at the bars or socializing, and you are a completely different person than you are if they were to meet you midday. Like, yeah, so interesting.
100%. And I say like a short but intense, you know, relationship with alcohol, because it just became so, you know, it just really took over my life, and I didn't feel comfortable anymore. I didn't feel confident anymore. So I tried doing it on my own.
Yeah, it's not a healthy lifestyle to be living, right?
So definitely. So I tried behaviorism, didn't work. Obviously, there was some sort of psychological issues that I had to address. So I discovered hypnosis, and I just found it so helpful to break this habit. And my mind, like, I was blown away by how quickly I was able to change my habits with it. And of course, I had other, you know, counseling, other supportive groups, but hypnosis was such a wonderful tool. And I think it really adds to the aspect, you know, you could do talk therapy, but hypnosis addresses the subconscious mind, you know, those parts of you. There's billions of neurons in your head, and this addresses those that we can't reach consciously.
I think too, when you say talk therapy, people still have their guard up, right, and hold back maybe some of the that they wouldn't be able to freely share if they were hypnotized, right? I think they become more relaxed and comfortable so that they are able to sort of share more freely. So had you ever been hypnotized before? Had you ever tried it for fun? I know, like, they have party, you know, you could go to fun nights out and get up and act like a chicken, or, you know, like they make you do fun things like that. That's the only like that I have ever seen. And I think I've always been afraid to get it. Like, I don't know what would come out of me if I wasn't able to control my thoughts or my words, right? Like, so I think.
Do you know that hypnotist, Mike Mandel? Either of you? Have you heard of him?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I have him on Facebook.
I have an experience with him, like eons ago, decades ago. Okay, like back in the day, he hypnotized a bunch of us at a bar in Lindsay. And
no way.
Yes. So, you know, he pulls a bunch of people. I think there was 6 or something of us up on the stage. And honestly, I can't, now looking back in hindsight, I can't decide if it was the booze or if I was really hypnotized or not. Because so he gets us up there, and I don't know all the things that happened, but at one point he pretends to hand us all a joint.
Did you feel high afterwards?
No, we didn't. But we had to hide it because all of a sudden he makes this like bang, bang, bang on the door, and the cops are here, and we're all like, now we're all high, and we're trying to hide their joints. Like going like this. Oh my God, the smell! Like, and I'm thinking to myself, when I look back on that night, was I hypnotized or was I really drunk that night? Like, I can't decide. I literally can't decide. I don't know. But that's a funny story. That's what when you say about clucking like a chicken, like the one lady I remember her clucking like a chicken, and there was a few things. I don't know.
Yeah. And And I've
and
heard
things I'm not going to share. So.
for,
Please do.
for non-smoking and weight loss, right? Like those are just some of the areas that I've heard, where people have used
Yes,
hypnotism.
I've heard good things about the smoking sensation, like reducing your smoking.
Yeah, smoking is definitely the most popular, I would say, for hypnosis. Yeah.
But some of the sorry, go ahead, Johanna. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay.
The services that you offer too, like I think there's a prenatal, something to help women with laboring, right? Did I read that right?
Yes, that's right. So I have been doing the clinic has been open for a year now. We have the Hypnosis clinic in Newmarket. But I'm actually currently taking this hypnobirthing course, and it is absolutely fantastic. So it's all evidence-based. They've done a ton of research, and this program, Hypnobirthing, it's a very specific course with the copyright logo on it. It has been run around the world, helping thousands of women give like pain management courses to help them with labor.
Oh, interesting.
And it's really empowering. I know that you guys have kids, right? I think you mentioned it in one of your videos.
Yes, we both do.
Yeah, and basically what happens when you are in hypnosis, when you are in this relaxed state of mind, it is actually prohibiting pain receptors in your brain. So if you are in a trance while you are giving birth, it is clinically proven that it will be less painful for you. You will be more relaxed, more calm. It just makes it so much more of a pleasant experience for the women in labor.
That is so fascinating.
It is, because I did my birth, like all 3 children were natural, right? So because I don't like pain meds, and I was really afraid of the epidural, like the whole thought. So and I do think I have somewhat of a high.
We are so different. Like, how does this because I remember saying to people, why would I do it without drugs?
Yeah.
Because they're going to be afraid?
Free drugs. Yeah.
Give me the pain meds.
But it was painful. Yes, so, like, would you go in with the woman, like a midwife? Like, would you be going in with a woman and get her into that state? Or is it like a word that they just say and you all of a sudden become relaxed? Is that how does it work?
So what it consists of is 5 2-hour classes, usually between, like 10 weeks to 37 weeks. So basically right up until labor, you can take this course. And then we have a specific recording for you to listen to. So the hypnotist doesn't actually have to be in the room with you, because that could be a little invasive. So you just pop on your headset and you can self-hypnotize yourself into the pleasant breathing, to listen to your body. It's all about how birthing is one of the most natural things our bodies can do. And there is a lot of medical intervention. And of course, it's so important to take care of yourself and make sure there's a doctor present to make sure that, there's no complications. But in general, you can give birth completely, on your own. So we kind of allow the women to take charge of their own bodies, relax themselves, encourage them. It's just a really empowering experience. And I've loved taking this course.
For all those women who give birth on the side of the road or don't make it, right? Like to be able to say, okay, let me put my headphones in and I'm not going to make it in time to the hospital.
But I think years ago, like back in the day, or as my kids would call it, the 90s. No, further back, like in the day, I think women were more aware of their bodies, right? They were more in tune with their bodies. I think over time with technology and, societal noise and that kind of thing, we have become disconnected from the inner workings of our bodies because there's other things. We fill our lives with stuff and things and noise, right? Whereas, back when there wasn't all that, you did listen to your body. And so I think a lot of women probably had this ability to self-hypnotize sort of thing to be able to have children without pain meds. I am not one of those people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a societal thing too. So when I was growing up, I didn't want kids because all I heard about was horror stories about people giving birth, you know,
We can still tell you some.
Oh, definitely, right? So I was so scared of birth and babies. I was like, no, thank you.
And then once you have them, you realize that is the least of the problems that you're going to have.
You know, 100%. That is the issue, right?
The beginning.
The birth, that was the easy part. It might have been painful, but it was relatively quick compared to the rest of the crap.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but I read this amazing book. It's it's called the Mongan method. And it really turned it around. They were talking about this woman who sort of went through the same experience of being really terrified of birth, and how she watched, I think it was like a pony give birth, and she just watched how calm the mother was and how focused the mother was. And she's like, why can't birth be like that for humans? You know, why are we always so stressed out and screaming and like. So yeah, she just went with that, did a lot of research on it, and created this amazing program.
That's cool.
I've seen people have these beautiful births and bathtubs and all kinds of things. And I'm like, wow, that is so impressive. I wish I could go back and talk myself into doing something like that. But I was like, when can they get here with the needle?
And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, it's completely up to the mother. You know, this program is for some people, and for other people, yeah, definitely. I totally understand if you want to take, you know, the drugs.
Yeah.
I understand.
Take the meds. So when if somebody was coming to you to be hypnotized for, like, you said eating, is that emotional eating? Is that just diet in general? Like, how does that work?
Sure. So typically when you come in, we do a consultation. So I figure out what your journey is. So specifically, some people are binge eaters where, you know, they'll be okay and then they'll have an emotional day and they just eat a bunch of food. There's just so many different types. So I've even had a client who came in who wasn't eating. They would only eat after 3 o'clock, and like it felt like their tummy hurt, and it was completely psychological, right? Like, she's had this for 20 years. She's been to doctors. You know, there was nothing technically wrong. It was just a psychological thing where my stomach hurts until 3 o'clock and then I'm fine.
Yeah,
Yeah. So basically what we're doing is we're changing the beliefs around your eating habits. So what does food mean to you? Is it a comforting thing that you can enjoy? Is it fuel for your body? Is it something that's going to make you feel sick? We just work on all those different things. And when you're in trance, you're in a different level of consciousness. And you know that there's different levels of consciousness because, you know, there's sleep. That's a type of consciousness. You know, there's very focused. There's daydreaming. Trance is it's kind of in between daydreaming and sleep. And when you're in this state of mind, you're very suggestible. So we can take you on journeys. So there is regression hypnosis. So I could take you back to the very start of where your eating patterns started. You know, so for example, if you had a rough teenagerhood, we could go back to there and we can create this healing experience for you, which feels very real in trance. So we could go back and talk to your younger self and tell them what you know now, you know, comfort them, tell them it's going to be okay. You've turned out stronger because of it. And just sort of grow from there. And then we can even reject some food. So for example, if, I don't know, popcorn is very triggering to you, we can pair that in your mind with something that you really don't like. So for example, I tried this with coffee. And when I was studying at the University of Toronto, that's where I got certified as a clinical hypnotist. I tried pairing coffee with the taste of tequila, which I hate. I hate tequila. And I could not drink coffee for about 3 months because it tasted rotten.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
But I like what you said, Johanna, about maybe it was something from our childhood, right? Like maybe we were forced to sit at the table and finish our plate, or we were forced to eat those Brussels sprouts, right? That just then caused us to have a bad relationship with food or eating habits as we got older, right? So to be able to go back to your childhood and sort of tell yourself maybe a different story or the lessons you've learned, that can then disassociate that from your current life, right? Where you're struggling with either, not eating or overeating. So that is really interesting.
That's totally interesting to me because I know that I'm an emotional eater, and I wouldn't necessarily classify myself as a binge eater, but I literally know when it started for me. And that was like around the age of 10. And for me, it was because, and not that I was overweight through public school and high school, but because I was very active and I was sporty. So I never had to worry about it that way. But for me, it was emotional eating got triggered because at 10, I developed big boobs. And so every dirty old man on the planet had something to say about a 10-year-old with these really big boobs. And so I remember wanting to eat so that the rest of my body looked bigger too.
So that so that they wouldn't be the only thing that stood out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But
yeah, definitely.
So I remember, and even then, as I got older in my 20s, it was sort of, then became a coping mechanism because I didn't want the attraction from the men that I wasn't married to, because I was, I needed to stay focused and stay married and figure that sort of thing out. And so, if I just don't get too thin or don't gain too much attention, then I'll be okay. I know I won't, go off the path that I'm supposed to be on, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting to me for sure. I'll have
Definitely.
to connect with you after.
Oh yeah, I would definitely be down for that.
Yeah.
It is really interesting because people do understand where their problems stem from. For example, you're back in the day when you were 10 years old, that's where it started. But emotionally, it's hard to change your emotions around that. And even though consciously you understand what your problems are, logically you understand what your problems are, this is where trance can really come in handy, because you can create that connection with the other part of your subconscious mind.
That is fascinating. Like,
it's really cool.
Very fascinating to me.
Really cool. Mm-hmm. So you are in Newmarket, so we can find all our viewers and stuff can find you on Facebook and on Instagram. And
what's the name of your business?
So it's Secret Success Hypnosis Clinic.
Amazing. And you'll connect that in the comments underneath this video, right? So that the people can get to you. We want them to get
perfect.
To you.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Sure. And you do a podcast. Like I've only I always click from your Instagram, but are you on another sort of medium that people can find you to listen to your podcast, or just through your Instagram?
So I have an Instagram, I have a YouTube, and a Facebook. And I do hope to upload my Hypno to Hypno podcast onto Spotify soon. And basically what that is, I'm interviewing hypnotists from around the world and discussing how their practice look, from Australia to England to the United States.
So now, because of where businesses aren't open, have you taken it online, Joe? Are you doing the hypnosis through FaceTime or this kind of way through Zoom?
Yeah, so we do have virtual sessions available, which you can book at my website, secretsuccesshypnosis.com.
Oh, so you can even do it virtually.
Yes, it's very cool.
Incredible.
I do think it has this whole situation has forced. I don't know if you were doing virtual before all this, but it is making this pivot, right? And now it opened up a whole new area. So that is really good for you that you can do it. And that you could reach globally, right? Because we can virtually get online with anybody, right? So that you don't have to be local to York region to connect with you.
Yeah.
Definitely. Have you guys been doing virtual stuff too?
Everything we do is virtual.
We do is virtual. Well,
all of it. Okay, that's great.
Community events, like we do some in person,
Yeah.
but most of our mentorship stuff is all done through virtual.
So this hasn't been a big stretch for us. A quick question. So what if somebody is a real skeptic to this? Can you still work with them? Or do you have to be somebody who's very open-minded? Because I wonder, like, if somebody comes in and has a massive block to it, will that?
I think that would be me, honestly. Like, not that I'm skeptic, but I think I have the fear. Like, I would put up a wall. Like, I'm so afraid to let you in to my brain, right? So,
yeah, definitely. So, hypnosis, it's not like I am in control. I am the facilitator. So it is your journey. You are controlling your mind in a way. And I am just helping you connect, the pieces together that you need in order to take this journey. If I had a skeptic in my office, I would just say, okay, let's not start with hypnosis. Let's just do some relaxation techniques. Let's just relax it down. Because a lot of people do come in with very big nerves. They're sort of moving around, very nervous. And it's okay. There's really no downside to hypnosis. People need to understand that it's really like a guided meditation. Like, if you're not scared of meditation, you really shouldn't be scared of hypnosis. As long as you're finding a hypnotist that is, has your best interest at heart.
Right. So as long as there's a good level of trust.
Exactly. And building up that trust. I would never hypnotize somebody who's not comfortable yet with hypnosis.
I would never want you to hypnotize me so that carrot cake tastes like liver. I don't ever want that.
Yeah. Sometimes I offer that to people and they're like, no.
No, like
too much.
Yeah. Although I would take like an aversion to pizza because I have an issue. Pizza is my thing, right? Like, if it could be a diet on its own, food group, yeah. So.
Yeah, you can fight against it too. That's the thing. Like, I do actually love coffee, and when I did that, I was like, no, my coffee.
I never let you
tequila.
I would never let you take my coffee away from me. Not in a hot minute.
Yeah.
Instant regrets on my
part.
Heavy.
I'll stay in the plus size, but I'm not giving up coffee. I gave up all the other garbage, dairy, gluten, like.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but not the coffee. Yeah,
meat. I mean, I rarely even eat meat.
Yeah.
Wow.
I keep the coffee.
This has been really interesting. So thank you for joining us. Yeah, because it did. I really didn't understand hypnosis, or and how it could really be therapeutic, right? Especially in all those aspects of our life. So, yeah.
Awesome.
So thank you so much.
If I could just mention one last thing.
Yes.
So for my hypnobirthing, I'm currently doing the training at the moment. However, before I get fully certified, I need to have work with one client completely for free in order to get certified. So if anybody is interested or knows anybody who's pregnant and who would like to do a natural birth, I would like to work with you for free. So it is around $600 basically worth. So give me a shout if you're interested.
Where are all our mamas to be?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, come on down.
Johanna.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Good.
We would love to hear the finishing of that too. We would love to find out how that finishes out. For sure.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I think Jodi froze on us. All right. That's our Women in Business Wednesday for today. So I hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday. And Johanna, thank you again for joining us. This has been fantastic.
You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you. And we'll talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.